Have people or even professionals insinuated that you're being too harsh or made you feel like the bad guy just because you're holding your child accountable? You're not alone, and there's a reason this keeps happening, especially to parents of kids with ADHD. I recently met with a mother about her 12-year-old son, Charlie, who has ADHD and anxiety. Charlie's elementary school staff, with the best of intentions, have spent years being overly accommodating of his anxiety. To quote his mother, the school and the therapists Charlie has worked with have spent so much time focusing on identifying his feelings that he's now hyper aware of being uncomfortable and has no tolerance for it. I should mention that when I previously gave Charlie's mother strategies for what the school should do to stop accommodating his anxiety, the school staff pushed back despite the fact that my recommendations were grounded in evidence-based practices. Recently, his school called in a district crisis counselor because Charlie got upset during a fire drill and refused to do his English assignment. The therapist told his mother to be more tender. The school staff showered him with empathy and attention as they always have. But here's the twist. When Charlie's parents calmly laid out clear expectations for cooperation in class and followed through on Charlie earning his incentive, he had a complete turnaround the very next day. Smiling, laughing, and fully caught up on his work, a 180-degree change. This didn't happen by accident. Over time, the education and mental health fields have experienced a noticeable imbalance in professional representation. That imbalance appears to have contributed to the shifts in how these systems approach child development, especially when it comes to emotional support and behavioral expectations. The dominant approach today often emphasizes nurturing, emotional validation, and avoiding conflict, approaches that are well-intentioned but sometimes overused. Compassion is essential, but when challenge, structure, and follow-through take a back seat, kids, especially those with ADHD and anxiety like Charlie, miss out on critical opportunities to build coping skills and resilience. Research has raised concerns that when these systems deprioritize structure and accountability, it can unintentionally make things harder for boys in particular. But this isn't about blaming anyone or pointing fingers, it's about recognizing how systemic patterns shape practice. For kids like Charlie who struggle with emotional regulation and follow-through, an overemphasis on comfort and protection from discomfort can actually stall their development. This often shows up as a combination when adults change their behavior to help a child avoid temporary distress. For example, letting a child skip class when they're upset, lowering expectations when they push back, or doing things for them to avoid a meltdown. These responses almost always come from a place of care. But for kids like Charlie, they backfire because the hidden message is, you can't handle this. That feels supportive in the moment, but it blocks growth and keeps kids stuck. Research shows that when adults over-accommodate a child's anxiety or avoidant behavior, it reinforces that behavior and makes it more likely to continue. Kids build confidence and coping skills when adults reduce accommodation while staying supportive. And in the ADHD world, we know this. Executive functioning doesn't improve from talking about problems. It improves through consistent structure, clear expectations, and practice doing hard things. Avoidance feels better short-term, but weakens the exact skills kids need long-term. If you're a parent in this situation, here's what you can do. Stop rescuing your child from every uncomfortable emotion. Let them feel it and guide them through it. It's not your job to make them feel better. It's your job to help them understand that they can tolerate difficult emotions. Be consistent with expectations even when others think you're too strict. Know that validation and boundaries can exist together. Saying, I know this is hard and I believe you can handle it, is more helpful than removing the challenge. Being kind and being helpful aren't always the same. Sometimes real help means letting your child struggle so they can grow stronger. Charlie's parents aren't being cold or rigid. They're doing the hard, uncomfortable work of helping their son build real-world coping skills. They're being met with resistance from the school staff because they're going against the grain of school staff, therapists, and a system that unintentionally rewards avoidance. But here's the truth. Those people won't be there when Charlie is 16 or 19 and facing real-life responsibilities. His parents will, and they're doing exactly what he needs, not what feels good in the moment, but what sets him up for long-term success. If you've ever felt judged for holding the line, you're not wrong, and you're not alone. For more real talk parenting strategies at work, visit ADHDdude.com to start building the skills your child needs to thrive. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.